Hello and welcome to class today. Make sure you add on your straps and that you measure them. You want your arm straps to go over the shoulder block. And you push into the shoulder block to tighten the straps. Make sure that you are pushing and that you do the same thing on the other side. Then once you have the straps down, take them out. Give him a quick little measure, even anything out. And then you can hang them up. Start with your headrest up. 4 springs, everything but the center spring. And your foot bar up in the middle position with the little blocks pulled out so that the bar is locked in. And then you can start class. Let's go ahead and get started lying onto your back in the center of the reformer. Have enough space for your shoulders so that your shoulder blades flatten towards the mat, hands down, feet on the bar in a Pilates V, that's heels together, toes about fist width apart. You are on the ball of the foot, the pad right below the toes. Before you press out, push into the arms, like if you're trying to push the mat away with your forearms and your triceps and your shoulders and your palms. And then take an inhale, make the shoulders really heavy. As you exhale, let the sternum get heavy into the chest cavity. With the next inhale, press away. Exhale back in. Inhaling to press out. Exhaling to come in. We'll do about 5 tour breath. 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. Going onto the arches, that's the middle of the foot. You can do 1 foot at a time or both at the same time. The toes are going to wrap over the bar. The heels are going to wrap under. You keep the feet active. It feels like you're a bird and you're wrapping your feet over the bar. You press out with your breath. Exhale to control back in. Again, breathing in to press away. Exhaling to pull in. Arms stay heavy. 2 more times. And once more. Let's go to the heels. Once you're on the heels, that is this path, the bottom one on the heel. You are going to try and find all of the surface area on the heels and push into them without pressing away so much that your lower abs are like, hey there. Once you feel your lower abs, you can now use your breath to press out to straight legs. And then keep that sensation, keep your sacrum heavy to come back in so that it helps you stay connected through the legs. Good. The feet stay flexing back. You keep the entire surface of the heel on there at all times. If it feels like you're rolling to the outside or the inside, just slow it down and focus on it. 1 more time like this. Then we're going to move back down to the ball of the foot, the pad below the toes. Feet will be parallel and together, knees are together. Press out to straight legs. With straight legs, lower the heels under the bar. Knees are soft, lift the heels. If this feels like it's a very elasticy type of stretch, come back up, hold for a second, find the entire ball of the foot. Your pinkies to reach. If you can't get that, squeeze the outside of the glutes so much that it feels like your legs want to turn out even though they are parallel, and that's going to make your pinkies want to reach more, so that when you lower your heels, your entire leg feels active and connected and like somebody just turned on all the lights. Good. Lowering and lifting. So even though your feet are together, toes, heels, knees, inner thighs, You're squeezing so much from the outside of the glutes and the hips that it feels like your feet want to start that Pilates deep positioning. 2 more, which they might. 1 more. Bend both knees, come back in, closing the carriage completely. Today we are going to practice hundreds with all 4 springs, which is the classical way. So to begin, we want to see that we have space. If we don't have it, we create it. We grab our straps. Connect your arms into the straps before you even push. So if you just press in right before it starts to move the carriage, your feet can be on the bar still. You just press in enough to get a little bit of a connection through your upper abdomen. If you don't feel that, and I don't like you're pulling yourself out of a swimming pool and you might feel it, but then also like the outside edge of the hand is going to push down so that the arm pulls through your side and you get this really pretty connection through the side. Well, I think it feels pretty. And once you have that, that's when you know that you are starting to be connected to curl up, so you are prepped. Pull your knees in, take an inhale, and when you exhale, push into them, curl, and begin pumping the arms, inhaling and exhaling. You try and keep the carriage in the same spot as you pump the arms. And as you exhale, we're keeping the legs at tabletop, by the way. And exhale. 2 more like this, breathe in. And exhale. And 1 more. And exhale. Then the arms go up. The head lowers, the feet land, the straps go away. Let's have you switch your springs now. 1 blue, 1 red, and back onto your back. Some space for your shoulders, hands firmly pressing down. Pilates V with the feet. And you'll be on the pad of the foot, below the toes. Find that outside connection through your glutes so that your pinkies want to reach out. Press out to straight legs. Once the legs are straight, curl up, reach your fingers forward, lift the arms, begin pumping the arms, inhaling for 5, and exhale 5. Breathe in, exhale, breathe in, and exhale. Keeping the arms connected to the back. And exhale. 1 more. And exhale. He sit, head down. You probably felt your abs work. So now we have 2 light springs. So we're going to take the hands into the straps next. Pull the knees in towards the chest. They can also be at tabletop if you'd like. And the hands will begin lowering down for the hips, shoulders open, and back up to the ceiling. You keep the arms lengthening through, connected to the back to lower and to lift. Knees squeezing into each other. 2 more. Last one. At the top we start circles. The arms open, keeping the carriage still. Down for the hips and back up for the ceiling. We open, we lower, and we lift. Guiding the breath to the back of the ribcage. Once more. And reversing the circles. Two more. Keeping the hands down after the next one for tricep presses. bending from the elbows and reaching back down. Bend and reach for 3 and 2 and 1. Bend the elbows. You can press out onto the foot bar to put your feet into the straps. Or if you want to practice tucking your pelvis to lift your feet without moving the carriage, you can also do that today. You're going to lower down so that the sacrum is heavy. Nose for the ceiling, shoulders wide, palms firmly pressing into the mat. Press out to a frog position, about 30 to 45 degree angle, and then you pull back in towards you. And again, you press away, and you pull back in. Standing into the straps as you press. Stand into them as you come back in. The straps are around the arches of the foot, so this might feel a little bit like your footwork when you were wrapping the feet over. If you keep that sensation of pushing into the straps against the bar, it might help you stay connected to the back of the legs, the glutes, and even the lower abdomen. Once more. Keep the legs straight. Start lifting up for the ceiling, only as high as the sacrum stays the same, the hips stay the same, and then you lower back down. Draw the abdomen in as you lower down, and then whatever space you have in your low back here, let it stay that way to control up. Ideally, your rib cage is heavy onto the mat, your sacrum is heavy onto the mat, and your low back has its natural curvature, so that if there's like a little ladybug colony underneath you, you let them stay alive. You don't let them run away, but you let them stay alive. You're protecting them. 2 more times. You're also not killing the ladybug colony when the legs come up, so if your back has smushed and your butt came up, you've killed them, and that's not what we want. Extra life. Sacrum heavy, lower, lift, and then keeping all of this in mind, we'll begin leg circles at the top. So at the top, the legs will come apart evenly from center line, which dissects your body in half, and then you lower down evenly from center line, meet back at center line to control straight up through it, and then you circle again. Circling through the legs. Picturing your femur, your upper thigh bone just rolling within the hip socket. Standing into the straps as you let that movement happen, so that you can feel all of the muscles that help you create this movement. Reversing your circles. Continue to stand into the straps at all times. For any reason, it feels like you can't stand into the straps even though you're trying to push into them, just make your range a little bit smaller. It could be a small circle far away. If you stay standing into them and this is the size of your circle, you can still feel your lower abdomen work. You can still feel how everything's staying within alignment, and how you're gaining strength in an area that perhaps maybe you haven't worked, or maybe it just needs a little bit of extra attention for today, and that's why you need to be in that range. This feels pretty good. Once more. And then you're going to pull the legs in like you're doing frogs. You're going to start swimming frogs, where you press out. Not swimming frogs, sorry, bicycle frogs. Straight up for the ceiling. Bend the knees to frog away. Press up. Bend the knees. Frog away. For this one, once again, you are trying to keep the ladybug colony alive. Sacrum stays heavy, even as the knees bend here, keeping tension into the straps, standing into them to keep that sensation that you could push something away through the back of the leg. Once more. And reversing. Sacrum staying heavy. Inner thighs working, chest open. Two more times. Last one. Pull the legs in for a butterfly stretch. Take a few breaths here. This feels pretty nice. You can grab the straps if it's helpful to you. If not, your hands can stay to the side. You could hold on to your legs. Sometimes that makes the hips feel a little bit nice. I wanted to say a little bit safer, but I said nicer. You can shift from one side to another. This can be helpful if your joints are feeling a little uncomfortable. Pulling the knees in for the center. Hug yourself. And straighten your legs for the ceiling. Once they're up for the ceiling, you can grab on close towards the hardware to pull towards you, and guess what? You can kill the ladybugs. They've moved, so it doesn't matter. Now you're just mushing whatever they left behind. Just giving yourself a little bit of a stretch through your low back. Then back up towards the ceiling. Bend one knee in like you're doing a frog. And then take the other leg out to the side to get a little bit of a stretch through the inner thigh. You could support it with your arm. Point and flex a few times at the ankle, working on keeping tension into the strap at all times. And then pulling that leg in to take the other one out. And supporting it with your hand and pointing and flexing through that foot. Keeping tension into the strap at all times. Pull the leg in. Feet into the straps. Come on out. And hang up the straps. Legs over the bar. Arms to the ceiling. Inhale into the back of the rib cage. And then with your exhale, let's come up. Standing up to grab onto your box. We're going to put the box long ways. You're going to take your headrest down. You can keep your foot bar up. You could also put it down. I don't mind it being up. Some people do. If you do, take it off. If you don't, you can leave it. But you're going to sit on your box, facing towards your straps. Take your feet onto the headrest and push your feet into the headrest. If you can keep your knees together, great. If you can't, you can always place a hand towel or a little ball between the knees. The hands will grab onto the straps. You will sit as tall as you can, and then you'll start pulling the straps back behind you and forward again. Like you're punching the knuckles down, opening through the chest, ribs pull back over the hips, and then you pull and control forward. We do that a few more times. Reaching through the ears for the ceiling, collarbones open for opposite walls. For 3, 2, and once more. have the hands punching into each other, like the knuckles punch in, grabbing onto your straps in front of you. While the carriage is still closed, knuckles punch into each other. Sit as tall as you can, squeeze through the glutes. So just sitting as tall as you can, squeezing through the glutes, creating a C curve through the spine, where your sternum is trying to round over the pubic bone. Start to round back, tilting and controlling forward. Now you are pushing into your feet, into the headrest, so much that you feel the back of that leg connect and the glutes engage. Encourage the glute engagement. That's going to create this lift. Once you have that lift, the lower abdomen is going to want to come in. Encourage that by drawing the abs in with your inhale so that you can create your C curve. Then keep the shape. Your next inhale tucks the pelvis, push through the feet as far as you can, stay connected through the back. And then exhale, sit back up tall. We'll practice 5 more. Going back, pushing through the feet, into the hands, and connecting up. It's like you have to even pull and push through the palm and through the foot. Sole of the foot. I think there's 3 more. 2. And if you lose any of your connections, just find them again. I did. I lost my butt. And I pulled it back. Once more. Once you come forward, take the hands down, round your body over for a stretch, and just let the arms lift. The arms will lower. Press lightly into them as you stack up the spine. And the carriage is going to want to move. Just pull enough where you feel your upper back work. And stay like that as you tuck your chin in to round forward. Keeping the arms connected into the straps. And then rounding back up. Your thumbs are lightly touching the box. Gliding down the box as you feel your upper back working. And then you go back up. And it's not this like huge work through the upper back. It's just like your back is connected, your arms are connected to your back, and you're moving through that connection. By moving the spine. Oh, this is a really collapsed one for me. Don't do that. Imagine like you're up against this wall and each vertebra has a snap button to the wall. Unsnap one button at a time. And then re-snap them back on. One more. Those are so hard for me. I hope you did better than me. Go ahead and grab your straps. Stepping off to the side. Switch so that you add on all of the springs. Switching the box over to short box. Depending on your leg length, you either go over the shoulder blocks or in front. Today I have the gear set regular for me, and I am in between negative and regular gear, so when I have it on regular, I have it in front of the shoulder blocks. If I have my gear in negative gear, I will have it over the shoulder blocks so that I give myself more space. To remove the foot bar, you're going to pull a little black mouse in. Pull the bar out. Careful, hold on to it. Bring this one and rest it over the rubber bands, rubber blocks, and then rest the bar. Sitting on a box. Place your feet through the fussy loop. Sit as tall as you can. You could push yourself tall, squeeze through the glutes, and try and maintain that. Hug yourself. That C curve that you just practiced, recreated, and now pull the feet apart. Feel how your legs are connected. Imagine that you're standing into something in front of you. Maybe that wooden part. Like if you could stand on it, you're not going to stand on it. You're going to stay away from it. But imagine that you're reaching for it so much that you are standing on it. And that will give the sensation of like your legs wanting to sweep underneath you, Keep that sensation of that sweep underneath you to help you control back for your round back and to help you lift up and over, scooping through the abdomen even more. Shoulder blades are wide, taking up space through your back. And if you're having a difficult time finding that reach through the legs, you've ever gone to a water park and you've gone through those slides where you grab on and you shoot your body through first your feet. Imagine like you're shooting yourself through, and then at the very end you come up so that you don't get any water up your nose at the end. Reach through the feet, go down your slide, and come back up. Once more. Stack up the spine as tall as you can. You can interlace your fingers, hook the hands behind the head to sit really tall. Look for your toes to hinge back. And look for your toes to come forward. And again, you're standing into the stretch to go back and to sit up taller. 3 more. 2. 1 more. We are going to skip the side to side once, and we're going to pull out the right leg. Pull the back. Hook your hands underneath that knee. Sit evenly on both hips, shoulders wide. Start straightening and bending in a place where the knee can stay in the same spot at all times. Then we straighten the leg to point and flex. Walk the hands up, keeping the leg at this angle. This is going to be your angle to walk back. So bottom leg is flexed. You're going to start walking back, keeping the leg there like it's standing into something. And then you sit yourself back up, walking forward towards it. Keep standing into the wall to walk back and to walk forward. And if you typically do this one with the leg up to the ceiling, we're not doing that today. One more time. Bend the knee, place it over the other leg. Sit as tall as you can and hinge from the hips with a flat back. Take a few breaths in your stretch and then switch sides. Sitting evenly on both sits bones, hands behind the knee in a place where you can fully straighten through the leg and bend, keeping the knee at that spot the entire time. The leg stays straight, you'll point and flex the foot. Walking the hands up towards the ankle, foot stays there pushing away, bottom one's also pushing away, to walk back with an inhale. The exhale brings you up, walk forward. And again, walk back. Still squeezing through the glutes to help you come up and over the pelvis. 2 more. Last one. Bend the knee over the leg. Flat back to hinge forward from the hips. Chest stays open, leading forward. Take a couple of breaths. And then sitting yourself back up nice and tall. You bend both knees, feet flat onto the mat. Ideally, we're going to have our knees directly in front of our hip joints and our ankles below our knees. Your feet may or may not hang. Want to push into the heel so that you feel the back of the leg engage. Once you feel that, take your hands behind the head, pull yourself back as if you're going to go onto the back wall. Squeeze the glutes, sit taller, twist to one side and back to center. Twist to the other side and back to center. Again, twist and pull. Twist twist as much as you can. Keep weight onto your heels. Push into the heels. Feel the lift and twist. Stay lifted, come back to center. Keep pushing evenly through the heels to twist. That's going to help you keep your hips anchored so that you are twisting and not just pulling your legs like this with you. So, even out both sides, back to center, push through the heels, sit as tall as you possibly can. Pull your head up and then lift your left elbow for the ceiling as high as possible and your left ear for the ceiling. Then pull to center. Right elbow, right ear for the ceiling. Back to center. Lean back a little bit. Right elbow, left elbow, left ear for the ceiling. Back to center. Staying with that lean. 2 more to each side. Only reaching as high as the heels to stay pushing down. Last set. Last side. Good. Then we're going to turn to the side. The top leg is going to go back into the strap. And it's going to hook it in there. Top leg. For today, the top leg is going to come on top of the box. Bottom leg is hooked. You flex the foot. Reach the arm to the headrest so that it feels like you could lengthen over the box. Other hand behind the head. Keep the hand on the headrest and lower down a little bit and come back up. Use your arm to help you do these today. I want to focus on keeping the shoulders squared. So this hand is behind the head to help the shoulders stay back. If that's uncomfortable, the arm can be forward here. This is an option. Ideally, you are using your side to help you come back up. If it feels like only your arm is working, that's because only your arm is working and that's not what we want. So right now, only my arm is working. So when I lower, unweigh the hand and lift up slowly. Lower with a little bit of weight on the hand so that maybe at any given point, you could just float the arm and still lower and lift. Once more. Then we're gonna go all the way for the ground with the same arm. If you can, if not, just stay here. And the other hand will reach over for a stretch. Your head can look up if that's comfortable, or you can support your head. Then both hands can help you come up to switch sides. So, switching feet. Leg goes over, hand on the headrest to help you stay hooked. Other hand behind the head. Lowering yourself down and lifting. Keeping the shoulders squared. Finding the connection through your side so that you can start unweighing the hand. And the hand can stay there as long as you're not putting a bunch of weight on it and you are using your side. If you want to remove it, you can remove it. One more time. Then when you feel like you are even, take your hand down to the stretch that you did on the other side. Support the head if you need to. And when you're ready, you'll come out. And put your box away. With the blue and the red spring, we are going to start to prep for elephant. So for elephant, let's take the foot bar up to the high position. So you pull the little knobs in, pull it out, lift it higher, take it up to the high position. Hook it in there. Push into the bar with your hand and keep the carriage close to stand onto the equipment. stand on the equipment. We're gonna stand about a foot away from the end of the mat, with the feet about your own hip width apart, and the hands underneath the shoulders, shoulders over the bar. Round up your spine, then start to lean back to put weight onto your heels while softening the knees. At this point, push through the arms more to feel your arms connect to your back. Draw the abs, and you'll move by pushing into the heels to press away, and then pull back in. The heels press the carriage out. The heels pull the carriage in. While you are pushing into the heels, and you can at any given point pick up your toes, I still want you to press all of the toes down onto the mat so that it feels like your feet are active. You close the carriage completely between each exercise. And if you catch yourself slamming like that, just avoid it next time. 2 more. And 1 more. Close completely. Step off carefully, keeping the carriage closed. And then we'll lower down the footboard back to the middle position. Hook it back in. And we'll move on. Lock it in. Switch your springs to 1 green and 1 red. If you need knee pads, go ahead and grab them now. If not, you can just kneel. Have your feet up against the shoulder blocks. Heels back. Thumbs follow fingers. We'll wrap your hands like you're trying to push the bar away. Once you push yourself away, draw the abs in so that your pelvis wants to naturally tuck. So once the abs are pulling in, your pelvis will tuck. Keep that sensation, push through the heels so that you start to feel the back of the leg work, and then use that to press out, squeeze the glutes, pull back in. It feels like you're trying to sit back towards the heels the entire time, and the abs are drying in. Squeezing through the outside of the glutes. That will help you keep weight off the knees. So if your knees hurt as you roll over them, having a little bit more of a connection through the outside of the glutes can be helpful for that. 2 more. 1 more. Closing the carriage completely between each one, ideally without slamming. Now from here, keep pushing through the arms. The pelvis is still tucked. Now keep reaching. You're gonna reach your sits bones to the heels so that your pelvis untucks and it lengthens behind you. Once you find that length, draw the abs in more. Look out in front to press away, squeeze the glutes, pull back in. As you press away and you squeeze the glutes, the abs pull in so much that it might feel like a stretch. Keep that length pulling back. Knees come in. Again, press out, squeeze glutes, pull back in. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and once more. Perfect. Keeping your hips like this, one leg can come forward to the platform in front of you. Other leg will be touching the bar. Pressing back through the back leg as far as you can while you are still touching the bar, and then pushing through the front ball of the foot and away to help you straighten through the front leg, and controlling back in, just bending the front knee. Back leg stays the same. Pressing out through the front leg, bending in through the front leg. Again, pressing out through the front leg, keeping both hips engaged. Last one. Sorry. I fell on this knee a few weeks ago, so I'm still avoiding some weight on it because it technically still has a bruise. So here it is. And then switching sides. So, foot against the shoulder block. The left foot comes forward to the pad. Square off through the hips. Back leg will push back as far as it can support. Then you press back through the front leg to straighten through. And then you control back in. Here, if your hands are at the very end of the foot bar, you can kind of soften the elbows out and look at the negative space between your hips and your arms. Keep it the same to go back and keep it the same to come forward. If you don't have a mirror in front of you, then that's okay. Just try and keep the space even, that your knee stays the same, that the arms stay the same, and you're not pushing to one more than the other. Keeping the weight even throughout the hands is going to help you stay even between the hips. Two more times. And once more. Close the carriage completely. Adding on all of the springs that you started with for running and pelvic tilt. Onto your back. Your headrest can come up. Shoulders open. About 2 inches apart with the feet. Follow the foot. Connect the outside of the glutes to get your pinkies to reach. Press out. Lower the heels. Lift the heels. Feel that connection and then split. That one knee goes up, the other one lowers. And you switch. This is running. Keeping the weight even throughout the ball of the foot on both feet at all times. Even while the knee goes up and you're in a high heel, that foot still has weight. You can go as slow as or as fast as you need to. But now we're going to practice fast. So, picking up the tempo. For 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. 1, bend both knees come in. Legs go wide on the bar for pelvic lift. Lift your hips 2 inches. Inhale, press out, squeeze glutes. Keep the abs drying in as you exhale, close back in. And press away and pull back in. 3 more. 2. And last one. Closing completely to lower the hips. Taking the legs over the bar. Arms to the ceiling. Take an inhale. With your exhale, sit yourself up. Coming out of there, you are all done for today. Thank you for joining class. Please remember to clean up your equipment.